name is Alicia Spina, and I'll be talking to you about MSG. According to the Center for Disease Control, 1 out of 3 U.S. adults are considered obese. Obesity is a serious chronic condition that encompasses heart disease, stroke, diabetes, many forms of cancer, and high blood pressure. Many of us are affected by obesity because of the high rate of it in America, and this can include our friends, our family, our relatives, and some of us may even fall into this category. I've become interested in learning about MSG because I want to work in the healthcare field, and I watched a documentary about the American diet that I'll share with you later. Today I'll be discussing MSG as an excitotoxin, MSG obesity-induced mice, and ways to solve this problem in our society. MSG should be banned from all manufactured and processed food due to its adverse health effects. MSG is considered an excitotoxin. An excitotoxin is a chemical that causes a brain cell to become overexcited and fire uncontrollably, leading to cell death, which clearly means that MSG targets cells and the cells die when too much MSG is consumed. MSG targets the hypothalamus, which is this tiny part of our brain, but it controls many aspects of our daily life, including growth, onsetting puberty, controlling hormonal glands, controlling appetite, sleep, and waking cycles. According to the book Excitotoxins and Taste That Kills, Dr. Olney did an experiment on developing mice where he administered MSG, and what he shockingly discovered was that the retinal neurons, which are cells in the eye that transmit nerve impulses, were severely damaged, and he also discovered that many of the neurons of the hypothalamus were destroyed, and this led to the ban of MSG in baby food, which is a good thing, but MSG is still widely used in foods that we eat every single day. Also, according to Consumer Health, many renowned health professionals agree MSG is a neurotoxin, which is a poison that attacks the nervous system, which goes along with the cells that transmit nerve impulses. And symptoms of this typically include headaches, but over the long term can cause brain damage, eventually lead to Alzheimer's, brain cancer, seizures, and multiple sclerosis. Next, I'll be talking about MSG in lab animals. This is really sad, but this is MSG obesity-induced mice. This is clearly the obese mice compared to the normal mouse. According to a Cambridge study, newborns were given MSG. 16% died before weaning, meaning 16% died before they were even taken off the MSG. And of the survivors, 90% were markedly obese. Another study found that MSG injections into lab mice caused MSG in lesions of the hypothalamus, which again goes along with the fact that MSG targets the hypothalamus. And that was derived from a public medicine article. And I have a video to kind of reinforce this and illustrate it a little more.
MSG is in 80% of all flavored foods that you get at a restaurant, that you get at a grocery store. It makes you want to eat more, but it does something else. It actually excites a part of your brain that's in charge of the fat programs. The chemical of MSG excites the brain, and due to that excitation, your body activates the fat programs and gets fatter. And everybody knows this. Like scientists know this, everybody knows this, and no one's saying anything. How do I know everybody knows this? Well, when you want to study obesity and you want to study a fat mouse, you've got to make a mouse fat, because mice aren't fat. So the way you make a mouse fat is you feed them MSG. And there's even a term for it, MSG obesity-induced mice. If you do a search for MSG obesity-induced mice, you'll see tons of research reports where they talk about, well, the protocol was we made the mouse fat, feeding them this much MSG, blah, 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 and then we studied this, and the other thing. They're not studying that. They're just, that's the protocol for making a mouse fat, is feeding them MSG. And this is in 80% of modern day foods.
So that just gives us more of a picture of how deeply MSG can impact our bodies and how critical it is to know about what we're eating. Overall, what we can do to combat this condition is spread the word of what MSG is to our friends and our loved ones. We can contact major food corporations and, in the end, contact the FDA. If we spread the knowledge of what MSG is to our loved ones, then they can consciously make decisions of what they're eating, and they can understand that their favorite foods might not be the best for their body, and they won't just eat it out of ignorance. They'll understand that food should serve a purpose, and the food that they're eating is only causing long-term health problems. If we contact major food corporations, we can tell them how upset we are that they're putting this harsh chemical into all their foods, so that maybe they'll consider taking it out of their products. And lastly, we can contact the FDA because, of course, they control food and drugs, and hopefully they could pass a law banning the use of MSG. I hope the information I presented to you today opened your eyes to be more mindful of what we consume. Overall, we understand how the food additive MSG affects our bodies in an extremely negative way and leads to obesity and damage of the hypothalamus, which leads to many other health conditions. What we learned today is that MSG is an excitotoxin, and we went over MSG obesity-induced mice. None of the changes can take place unless we take our part. Knowledge is power, and you are what you eat, so let's make a better difference for a brighter future. Thank you.